Hello everyone, this is Dom Sigalas. We're here at SUPERBOOTH at Yamaha Synths, and I'm here with the one and only Matt Johnson.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sure you know who he is. He's an idol, and he just gave us one of the most amazing performances. He also played some of his new patches for the MONTAGE M.
Right, yeah.
That was mind-blowing.
Thanks, Dom. Thanks, mate. I'm loving the synth. It's just so huge now with the ANX engine, FM engine, AWM engine. You know, it's just like, wow, so much going on.
Playground, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We have 5 minutes with Matt Johnson. That's why we're going to call this video. And I don't know, I want to ask you so many questions now because you were playing all these amazing sounds. So I would guess my first question, what's your #1 favorite sound on the MONTAGE M?
In terms of the presets?
Yeah, presets, or maybe it could be one of your own sounds.
One of the sounds I'm really loving at the moment, I mean, I can't do a lot with this sound, but it's so impressive sounding, is this ANX patch. I love that you can do these interactive things, you know, with the super knob. You know, how easy it is to assign things to it, and you can end up with this incredibly complex morphing kind of sound.
And you use a polyphonic aftertouch there, right?
Yes, I am using
cool.
poly aftertouch. That's another thing, isn't it? Because you can assign that to quite a few different parameters, and it's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, you were doing this sound where you would basically have one element, and then you would press for the polyphonic aftertouch, and one element would go, and another one would appear.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, what I did there, I programmed a patch, and I programmed the poly aftertouch so that the volume went to 0 when I depressed.
Okay.
And then I just copied the patch, and I used different waveforms. So like the first one's got a saw, the other patch has squares, and then I did the opposite with the programming so that the volume is at 0 and it comes up.
Oh, that's
so
very
in that
clever.
way it can. Oh, and I changed the pitch from a fifth, so it goes up a fifth. So you get in a chord.
I'm not gonna say what the sound is called, but I like the.
Yeah. It's a warm analog synth.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very. I can tell where this gets inspiration from.
Right.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you, mate.
So, basically, do you prefer creating sounds from scratch, or do you?
Normally I do. Normally, if I'm doing a synth sound, I do it from scratch always, because I find the good thing about that is you know the whole architecture of the sound. You know what I mean? Like when you edit a patch, then you don't necessarily know all the things that are going on in the background. But when you start from 0, there's no surprises. Well, why is it doing that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, because you know exactly what's going on, what every controller does, and
you've made it all happen. But when it comes to like some of the presets, like amazing electric pianos, I should say, I'll use the preset and I'll just you know, alter it to my taste a little bit, and then I might blend in, and like here I've got an ANX sound with it. You know, and there's a bit of poly aftertouch on that, I think, as well.
So good.
Yeah.
And you played another sound where you go from, like, it's a massive sawtooth sound, and then you go to like a square. Was it again with
same kind of trick? I think that was. Yeah, I've got this saw, and then when I do the super knob, it goes. And I think I programmed the mod wheel to bring in a bit of mod, but also reverb.
Wow. So you're crossfading basically, but it sounds so seamless. I was like, hold on a second, there's no wave like morphing, but this sounds so. Can I try?
And the cool thing is you can find the midway point as well. Like, you know, I've got another sound here, which I didn't show, but that's an ANX, and then the other side is a cinematic string kind of thing. And then, you know, you can find that nice halfway point.
Yes. Oh.
So, I mean, you know, in terms of depth of programmability, I don't know if there's any keyboards that are more have more, really. Can't think of one. You know, in terms of that, you can do so much with this thing. You'll never get bored for years. Don't you think? You'll never use all of it.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no. I mean, even if you have to go through all the waveforms, if you start exploring all the waveforms of the AWM2, this will take you like
Oh yeah, forever.
Ages.
Yeah, people don't realise that there's so many samples in there you've never heard because they're not on any of the presets. You know what I mean? Because there's more waveforms than there are presets.
Exactly.
So actually, if you look through the waveforms, you can find surprising things that are really awesome. You know,
I mean, it's so, you know, you might have like a sound I find sometimes, you know, that it's an FMX or an ANX sound.
Yeah.
And then you add just a tiny bit of element from AWM2 and it's just like
it brings
completely
a whole
different,
new
you
thing
know,
to
like
it.
Old Michael Jackson records where they had all these little kind of tiny sounds. If you listen to the multi-track and you're like, what's going on? This sound sounds so huge and it's made of like tiny particles and that tiny little clink noise. What's that? It's great. But of course, you're using it live. You're really putting it to the test. What would you say would be your number one, let's say, live feature that you use all the time? For
me, there's two, but the scene is the obvious thing.
Yeah.
You know, because you can have one patch, but it can have 8 whole completely different sounds. You know, completely different sounds or levels changing. You know. So that is so awesome when you're playing live. You don't want to be fiddling around trying to find the next patch.
Yep.
You don't have to do that. You can just literally flick, 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 and you're into another scene. And that is very, very great live feature. And the other one for me, as I said earlier, is the fact that I can hold this patch, and then I can just switch over to another patch, and it still holds. It's pretty awesome.
And it holds forever.
yeah.
I mean, so the seamless sound switching, this is, you know what I find that some people also forget? I mean, you have lots of synths, of course.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't checked Matt's channel on YouTube, you should go subscribe right after you watch this video. But do it because it's amazing. And not only about the synth stuff, but also about the stuff that he talks about, like music theory and chord progressions and, you know, the actual whole process of making music, which is something that many people forget these days. We can talk about oscillators and filters all day, but at the end of the day, it's all about the music, right?
Absolutely. They're just tools, aren't they? And they're to be used by musicians, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing that I was saying, you know, you say people forget about the waveforms. And I think another thing that many people forget is the fact that you can plug in any synth right here and use it as a pedal board.
I do that actually. I do that on with my own show, not Jamiroquai, but with my own show. I've got a different synth. I won't mention its name in the Yamaha world, but you know, it goes into the assignable input, and that's so awesome because then I can do the same sort of things, bringing in a massive reverb on the other synth.
Yep.
You know, and still do that also on the Montage, you know. So that is an incredibly flexible tool, I've got to say.
Yeah, and now there's, I mean, can you imagine having like a complete mono synthesizer that isn't even stereo, right?
Yeah.
You're just running it through like a chorus or a stereo widener or like a reverb. Absolutely. By the way, what do you think about the new Shimmer? I saw you using it already.
I used it, it's great, it's great. It's a really nice addition. I love Shimmer reverbs, you know, and you can really tailor it as well. You can EQ it, you know, it's a very bright reverb, but you can actually dampen it right down. And so it's very, very flexible. I think it's awesome.
It's one of the things that when you see all the different things that you can do with it, I don't know, it has like a frequency modulation and amplitude modulation and panning and stuff. But when you used it on your sound, it was almost like a extra synth layer. If I didn't know it was like a reverb, oh, that's
it's like it's giving you another octave. Where is it? I think, there we are. It's quite subtle. It's just giving you that little ghostly. You know, it's amazing, amazingly flexible keyboard.
That's amazing. So, Matt, what you're on about? Are you preparing your album?
I am actually. Yes. I'm working on my own second album, which hopefully I'll have it out later on this year. I'm playing in Berlin tomorrow actually with all Yamaha gear using the Montage 8 and 6. It's going to be great. I've got the band over, and we're also working on a new Jamiroquai record. We've done a couple of weeks.
Amazing.
Yeah, we just started, but it was a really good start actually. Very buzzy. We really enjoyed playing it again together. You know, so that's
This
cool.
is great news.
Yeah.
I think we have to stop now.
Okay.
Because it's like our 5 minutes have
Became
how long are we in? Matt, thank you so much. It was great seeing you.
It's a
Great for
pleasure.
having you. Thank you for the great performance. And yeah, see you on the next one, guys. Bye bye.